Hi, Paul Del Vecchio here. I'm the director of The Final Day, our entry into the Diary of the Dead DVD contest. And I'm going to kind of break this down for you, how we did some of the visual effects and basically how we made this movie in 4 days with no budget and no crew. This one is not going to be as, I guess, complex as the Netflix commercial. But, it's just like a few small tricks here and there just to show you exactly how we made this flick for no money and, with no crew. So let's just jump right in here. A lot of this stuff was, we shot all this park stuff in about an hour and a half during magic hour or golden hour or whatever you want to call it. No Steadicam or anything like that. It's all handheld. Basically, the idea of this was we wanted to give it a very, very handheld look. Originally, we were going to make sort of like a complimentary type of film with Diary of the Dead. I wrote something and Dave was like, I don't know if that camera is really working for me. We basically opted to not tell the story through someone recording what's going on. We just, opted to go with a more traditional film with cuts and everything like that. But basically, as a director, my thought was that, I still want to kind of capture that documentary kind of feel that Diary of the Dead has. So I said, let me shoot this handheld. There are only like 2 or 3 tripod shots in the entire film, but I wanted to shoot it handheld and kind of give it like a shaky sort of feel to it, just to give it that documentary type of feel. And that's why, we opted to shoot most of the film handheld. So basically, right here is a wound that we put on Dawn's neck. I used to be a special makeup effects artist, but so basically here is just sort of like a small progression of the wound, and pretty much all it is wax built up. We put latex over it, and then we just added some color, added some blood. Basically, with the color grading, you can see that depth is sort of in there. We gave it sort of like a really dark color, so it looks like there's a hole there. In a lot of these flashback sequences, you can see sort of like there's more grain, and that's what we were going for. We kind of wanted to give it a more dirty look, and plus it just looks a little bit more violent too, because like the wound on her neck and all the blood, it just sort of looks more disgusting, more raw. Okay, cool. And we just added that grain in post-production. As you can see right here, you start with a clean picture, and then you just add the grain in post-production. That gunshot right there is actually not even a visual effect. It's a prop gun that we had that has a solid barrel. The shell ejecting was not a visual effect either. So basically no visual effects there. Sometimes it's actually better to get something in camera so that you're not fiddling around too much in post-production. Plus it just always looks real, obviously, because it is real. So if you can, get it in camera with, with no budget, or you can get it in camera within your budget, then that's probably the better way to go. Right here you can see a gunshot. It's real quick, it's very shaky, but it's there for one frame and it's very small, but you can kind of see it there, hopefully. And that one was not a real gunshot. We were running around in a park and we didn't want to get like arrested or shot. We actually used a fake gun, and we made sure no one was around, and we didn't fire it at all. We decided that it would be better to add it in post-production because we didn't want to cause any trouble in the park. This is also a post-production gunshot. Again, we didn't want to, start firing a gun in the park. So, you can see that blood spray coming out of the back of his head. That was added in post-production because we didn't want to make a mess in the park, and we just figured it would take too long to rig because we were shooting during golden hour or whatever it's called. So we didn't want to lose any sunlight because there's like basically what I guess golden hour is about an hour of time where the sun is setting and everything just looks really, really good, and it just lends a very nice look to the footage. It's very, very warm, and it just really looks great. So we tried to shoot during that period of time so that we can just get some really great looking shots. And so using a rig with a pump and blood spraying out of the back of Doug's head would have taken too long. So we opted to do it in post production. This basement is actually a basement in my parents' house, so that's that's how we got that. It's actually nowhere near that building. That building is about half an hour away, the one that he walked into. So this is you can kind of trick the audience and kind of sell them on that with changing locations and stuff. The bite mark, like I said, Dave just kind of built it up with wax, and then he bit into it with his top teeth, and that's why it kind of looks like there's this flap kind of hanging there. Also, I should probably say, all this stuff right here is lit with photo floods and practicals. Photo floods are those lights that kind of look like scoops, and practicals are just lights that are there on set. And we wanted this to look very dark and very, I guess, gloomy and very shadowy. So we added a lot of shadows when we shot this, and also I added in post-production. I added sort of like a greenish tint to it. It's very slight, very hard to see, but it's there. You can see sort of it's kind of cut out because of the 2:3:5 aspect ratio bars, but you can kind of see the light up there in the back, illuminating sort of like the back side of Dave's head. But that's just a light that's there in the basement. This stuff with Doug, his actually, we didn't have any contacts or anything. We couldn't afford that, and plus we just didn't think that we would be able to get it in the short amount of time that we had. And those eyes that are on Doug, they're very kind of like faded, pale eyes. I actually added that in post-production. It's very simple. It's just a solid cut. We motion tracked it into Doug's movement, and we just kind of overlaid it onto his eyes. And that head explosion is just a digital effect. We just kind of cut out his head and pasted the background in there after he fell. We got the clean plate. We just kind of took the clean plate and pasted it in behind his head so that when we cut his head out, there would still be something behind there. You might see those clothing pins that are pinned up on that line right there. I actually put those there on purpose so I could use those to motion track because everything else was so dark. So I figured I need something that I can motion track. This way I can put the clean plate in there. So I actually put up those clothing pins so I could have 2 points to track while Doug fell. And all this stuff is just right, that you hear over here is just sound effects, royalty-free stock sound effects. A lot of this stuff, this is, again, now here we are back out into the park, and we shot all this park stuff in about an hour and a half, I would say. All the running and all this stuff right here we shot in about an hour and a half. This shot right here we actually had to brighten up in post-production because it was just kind of evenly lit and the sun was kind of gone at that point, so I had to color correct it and then lighten up one side of his face so the lighting didn't look so flat. And then again, this explosion right here, we had a sort of like a glow with the sun right there, but then this explosion is just pretty much, it's done the same way as a Netflix commercial with rotoscoping and stuff, but like the great thing here is that Dave isn't running, so I literally only had to cut him out for like 1 frame, which was awesome. It was a lot better than cutting him out for like 100-something frames, and animating the mask while he's running. So yeah, that was this was a lot easier, and I purposely did that because we only had 4 days to get this thing in, and I was like, you know what, I'm not dealing with that shit. I'm not staying up 24/7 just to cut out him, moving and stuff. I figured I'll just have him standing still. I think it adds more to the dramatic effect too, where he's just kind of like standing there watching, knowing he's going to get bombed. Alpha 2 to control, target is destroyed. So once again, this is Paul Del Vecchio. I'm the director of the Diary of the Dead contest entry entitled The Final Day. You can check us out at www.triple-e-productions.net. That's triple-e-productions.net. And you can also check out the blog at tripleeproductions.wordpress.com. Thanks, guys. Action. Bye. Cut. Okay.
I'm gonna puke, you guys.
Wait. All right. And action. Cut.
That's gonna look fucking hot.
That wasn't that loud.
It was loud enough.
What is it, bro? You're rocking back and forth, so I'm having trouble trying to understand.
Hello?
This is Control. What is your sit rep?
Listen. You sound really dumb. Just do it normal, please. This is Control. What is your sit rep? Over! Bullshit! I don't know. You should be walking in the shot now.
Oh, yeah.
Sit rep.
Listen. Okay, I need your help. My town is overrun with these things.
Say again.
Everyone. Fuck! You're not gonna see him from above, right? You just fart on me.
Me?
No, not you.
Oh.
You just pause when you. Okay.
No, I got